I always get constant questions about eliminating certain channels, certain placements, and things of that nature. While yes, there are many instances where a placement or a particular channel could suck up a lot of the spend, I think there is better time to be used in looking at other bigger levers in the campaign. Having said that, there are certain things that I think should be excluded from the beginning of the campaign. So that's very important in the campaign setup. So for example, mobile apps, that's very easy to exclude, and it will make sure that your campaign is not showing up across mobile apps, especially when that's going to happen in the mobile traffic, which is the majority of traffic on YouTube. The other thing you can have is display exclusions. Now, just recently, you can add Google AdSense _ without _ YouTube.com, and that will stop your ads from showing up in display network partners. That's a good thing to start out with, I believe. There have been instances where people have found that for whatever reason, when they add that, while they stop showing up on display, their campaign stopped firing. And the way you can address that is, this is my thought process. You're gonna have your targeting and you're gonna show up, whether it's gonna be placement, keywords, so on and so forth. There's only so much in that audience. And whenever you start a campaign, Google is looking for the best way to get conversions based on the information that it has. All the information that it has is the targeting, the creative, and the offer, and that's it. If Google, within a span of 24 or 48 hours, is not getting conversions or does not believe it can get you the conversions based on whatever information it may have, your clicks, your performance, other accounts in a similar area, it's going to try to start to send that traffic into display network partners. But what happens? If your display network partners is excluded, it's not going to show up. So it's going to stop spending. What is that telling me? That is telling me one of two things. Either your audience, it's not big enough, or your creative is not good enough. You want to look at that. If you find yourself having to include display network partners, more times than not, and I'm not saying there aren't glitches in some accounts, but more times than not, it's because, as I stated earlier, your audience is probably not big enough or your creative is not good enough. Google is basically telling you, hey, I can't get you conversions based on these placements that you've given me. If you give me display network placements, then possibly I could go out there and look for it. But otherwise, on YouTube videos, which is where you want to show up, if you're promoting on YouTube, I can't get you the conversions that you need. Now, finishing off with the whole issue of placement targeting and looking at what placements to get rid of. Honestly, if you really look at your account and you find there is a type of channel that is showing up and it's really taking up 50%, 40% of the spend, yeah, by all means, get rid of that channel. But more times than not, you'll find out that when you really look and you dive really deep into those placement URLs that are spending that you would think are not aligned with what your customer is looking for, the reality is you realize that it's not that much money in most cases. On top of which, if you are going to take the full advantage of YouTube ads, it really grows when it takes into account all the audience and the algorithmic bidding. Yes, we can sit down and do contextual targeting, which is based on placements, topics, or keywords all day. It's based on whatever that video is. But yes, you will find sometimes that a certain product that you're trying to promote, someone is watching clips of Rick and Morty on YouTube, or someone is watching clips of how to fix this thing in their car, or so on and so forth. And there were things that you would think that doesn't make sense, but it's fine. It's no different than a retargeting audience, right? If you're targeting people that went to your site and you start looking at those placement URLs, you tell me what they have in common. You'd be surprised. You have people going to one site, another type of video, so on and so forth. And yes, sometimes it's something that's a foreign language video and you'll see a conversion. I want you to take those thoughts when you're thinking about excluding placements. More times than not, you're gonna gain more by getting better creative or even maybe improving your demo targeting or your audience targeting than you are by sitting down and looking at all these little placements to exclude. Having said that, more times than not, display placements do not perform as well as YouTube ad placements. That's why I mentioned the code to exclude those and mobile apps. And that's where I would focus as far as exclusions. Now, if you want more tips for free in the YouTube channel, check it out. We'll try to explain everything as thorough as possible. If you really want a step-by-step process, you want to get on weekly phone calls, and you really think that's something that can help you or your team out, feel free to click on the link and book a call.